The mysterious case of Rosalind Ballingall. The mysterious disappearance of Rosalind Ballingall remains one of South Africa's most haunting unsolved cases. A young woman of striking beauty and deep internal complexities, Rosalind vanished without a trace in August 1969 during a retreat to the Knysna forests. Decades later, her story is still remembered for its strange twists, lingering questions, and tragic possibilities. At the time of her disappearance, Rosalind was a tall, ethereal figure standing 6 feet tall, with long red blonde hair and piercing blue-green eyes. Those who knew her described her as captivating, with a beauty that recalled the romantic style of the pre-Raphaelite era. Yet behind this surface, Rosalind struggled with insecurity and emotional turbulence. She often appeared shy, distant, and emotionally withdrawn. Many of her classmates at the University of Cape Town, where she was studying drama, noticed this aura about her. It later became widely known that she was part of a group of counterculture students called the Cosmic Butterfly, who were known for their experimental approach to life, including the use of psychedelics and non-traditional social norms. Born on December 30th, 1949, in Lusaka, then part of northern Rhodesia, modern-day Zambia, Rosalind grew up in a wealthy and well-connected family. Her father, Horace Ballingall, held a senior executive role in the mining industry, and the family eventually settled in the affluent Johannesburg suburb of Northcliffe. Rosalind had 2 siblings, including her sister Miranda, who also attended the University of Cape Town. Though intelligent and artistic, Rosalind's path was winding. She graduated from secondary school in 1966, but did not begin her formal studies in drama until 1969, with an unexplained gap in between. During her time at the University of Cape Town, she lived in De Waterkant, a diverse and unconventional neighborhood in Greenpoint that attracted a wide array of people, artists and students living on the fringes of apartheid-era society. The bohemian lifestyle she embraced there likely shaped many of her personal and emotional experiences during that period. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Rosalind's mood reportedly began to deteriorate. Despite her early success in a university ballet production titled M, she was given a smaller role in a later play, Pantalese. This apparent setback, combined with ongoing personal struggles, seemed to plunge her deeper into sadness. Concerned for her well-being, 2 acquaintances, Tanya Geffen and Sasha Sergeyev, a musician known for his introspective Dylan-like persona, invited her to join them on a retreat to a cottage in the Knysna forests. The 3 arrived at the remote cottage in Fizantehoek on August 11, 1969. They spent time discussing spiritual and philosophical topics, including passages from the Book of Revelation, a conversation some speculate was linked to a planned psychedelic experience. But the next morning, on August 12th, Rosalind left the cottage at 9 in the morning, dressed lightly in jeans, a jersey, and sandals. She took a Bible and told her friends she was going for a walk. The last known people to see her were 2 staff members at the cottage, to whom she asked directions to a church. Shortly afterward, a gardener saw her cross the lawn and walk into the forest. When she failed to return by nightfall, her companions grew worried, but knowing her tendency to wander, they assumed she would come back on her own. They waited until the next morning, August 13th, to contact authorities. By then, rain had washed away potential tracks, and crucial hours had been lost. The search effort faced additional setbacks. When police arrived, they found Sasha playing his flute at the back of the cottage, believing music might call Rosalind back. Furthermore, neither Sasha nor Tanya could initially recall Rosalind's surname, delaying notification to her family. Police initiated a massive search involving locals, trackers, and dogs, but the dense underbrush of the forest made the search extremely difficult. It was concluded that if Rosalind had indeed entered the forest, she would have become disoriented quickly. There was also speculation that she may have reached the National Road, roughly 6 kilometers from the cottage. If so, she might have left the area entirely, either by choice or through an encounter with someone unknown. The official search was called off on August 26, 1969, leaving only questions behind. Theories emerged. Perhaps she became lost and was unable to survive the wilderness, or perhaps she wandered off in a drug-induced state and suffered an accident. Some feared foul play, and unsubstantiated rumors of love triangles and unplanned pregnancy circulated in private circles and the press. One woman claimed that a person in the UK who knew the Ballingall family refused to speak about Rosalind's disappearance, suggesting ominously that revealing the truth would endanger her. But no concrete leads ever surfaced. Over the years, numerous alleged sightings of Rosalind were reported. She was said to have been seen walking with someone on the road, visiting a post office, or even appearing as a mysterious passenger in a vehicle. Each of these reports was investigated and dismissed as mistaken identity or unverified accounts. What continues to confound those who remember the case is how thoroughly Rosalind vanished. No trace of her body or belongings was ever recovered. Despite extensive efforts from her family and authorities, she seemingly disappeared into thin air. The absence of closure has left her story open to a variety of interpretations, some rational, others veering into the mystical or conspiratorial. Rosalind Ballingall's disappearance remains emblematic of a time and generation shaped by social upheaval, personal exploration, and existential searching. Her beauty, fragility, and poetic spirit have made her something of a tragic figure, a person caught between two worlds, the real and the imagined. Whether she met with misfortune in the Knisna forest or chose a new path away from her previous life, the truth remains elusive. In the years since, her case has become a somber reminder of how even in a world filled with people, someone can simply vanish. Her family never received the answers they longed for, and her friends were left with memories and what-ifs. Rosalind Ballingall's story endures not just because of its mystery, but because it speaks to the complexity of human emotion, identity, and the search for meaning in a world that does not always offer clear answers. Hiker makes a strange discovery. While hiking through the peaceful woods of Berkeley-Jackson County Park in New York, James Rankin stumbled upon something deeply unsettling. What began as a casual nature walk quickly transformed into a bizarre and eerie experience that has since caught the attention of both the public and local authorities. Rankin, curious about an overgrown trail near a residential area, decided to explore deeper into the woods. As he made his way through the dense trees, he started noticing something unusual. Pinned to the trunks of various trees were laminated posters, around 25 of them, all displaying the faces and names of people who had gone missing. Each poster was carefully protected inside a transparent plastic sleeve, suggesting that someone had taken the time to preserve them from the weather. Rankin immediately recognized the strangeness of the display. These weren't fictional names or prank posters, they were genuine missing persons cases. The discovery sent chills down his spine, especially when he noticed that the names on the posters matched real-life cases, some of which had garnered national attention. One poster was for Tara Grinstead, a beauty queen and high school teacher who vanished in 2005. Another featured Brenda Heist, who had been missing for over a decade before she unexpectedly resurfaced. The detail and accuracy of the posters left Rankin disturbed, wondering who would create such a display and why. Not far from the poster-laden trees, Rankin discovered what seemed to be a makeshift campsite. It was arranged in a circular fashion, complete with a large tent, a campfire setup, and signs of recent activity such as food and various items. However, there was no one in sight. The campsite looked lived in but temporarily abandoned, adding a sense of immediacy and mystery to the already strange situation. Rankin captured the entire scene on video and later shared it on Facebook, where it quickly went viral. His footage showed the haunting atmosphere of the site and raised concerns among viewers about its true purpose. Bothered by the implications, Rankin reported the incident to local law enforcement. However, the response he received only added to his unease. He was reportedly told that the posters were part of an upcoming Halloween display, meant to serve as spooky decorations for a seasonal party. This explanation didn't sit well with Rankin, who pointed out that the posters appeared weathered and had clearly been hanging there for some time. In addition, Halloween was still nearly a month away, making the timing of the setup questionable at best. The Suffolk County Police later confirmed that they had received a report from Rankin regarding a suspicious finding in the park. They stated that the matter was currently active, but declined to release further information. The lack of clear communication and resolution only fueled speculation online, where users debated whether the explanation about a Halloween party was simply a convenient cover story. What truly unsettled many people was the meticulous nature of the display. The posters were not haphazardly thrown together, Nor were they generic Halloween props. They were replicas of actual missing persons posters, complete with dates, names, and photographs. To those who viewed the video and followed the case, it seemed unlikely that someone would go to such lengths for a casual seasonal decoration, especially in such a remote and hidden part of the woods. The incident sparked widespread discussion about the line between artistic expression, seasonal displays, and disturbing behavior. While it is not uncommon for Halloween setups to lean into themes of mystery or fear, using real missing persons cases, especially unresolved ones, can feel disrespectful and potentially exploitative. For the families and loved ones of those still missing, seeing their stories used in such a context could be painful and upsetting. Whether or not the site was intended as a Halloween prank, an artistic installation, or something more serious remains unclear. Rankin's discovery reminds us that even in places meant for peace and recreation, strange and unexplained phenomena can still unfold. The incident raises important questions about sensitivity, intention, and how far people are willing to go to create an eerie atmosphere. As of now, the so-called shrine in the woods of Berkeley-Jackson County Park continues to raise eyebrows. The police investigation is ongoing, and no one has claimed responsibility for the posters or the campsite. For James Rankin and those who have followed his story, the unsettling feeling lingers. It remains a haunting reminder that sometimes the most disturbing things are not found in stories or legends, but in the quiet, shadowed places just beyond the edge of the familiar. The mysterious origins of this stone pillar. In the vast and rugged wilderness of northern New Mexico, where the history of ancient civilizations, colonial explorers, and indigenous peoples intertwines, historian Louis Cerner uncovered a mystery that continues to defy explanation. A native of Springer and Cimarron, Cerner has dedicated his retirement years to documenting the stories and heritage of the region he calls home. But in 2013, during what seemed to be an ordinary visit to a local hotel, Cerner found himself at the center of one of New Mexico's most intriguing historical puzzles, a mysterious stone pillar covered in unfamiliar symbols. The discovery took place in the lobby of the St. James Hotel in Cimarron, a historic building known for its Old West legacy. While browsing the lobby, Cerner's eyes were drawn to a white stone tucked away in the corner. At first glance, the object resembled a marker of some kind, and the front desk clerk casually explained it was a Santa Fe trail marker. But Cerner, whose studies and travels had taken him far beyond the borders of New Mexico, immediately recognized something unusual. The stone bore carvings and symbols that were unfamiliar in local historical context. Most notably, it featured Templar crosses, emblems deeply associated with the Middle East and the era of the Crusades. The sight ignited Cerner's curiosity. He took photographs, examined the pillar from every angle, and began to question its origins. Why would a stone that appeared to bear Middle Eastern religious or cultural symbols be located in a New Mexico hotel? Who brought it here, and for what purpose? Cerner doubted the Spanish or early European settlers were responsible. The style and craftsmanship seemed out of place. It reminded him more of sacred objects tied to the Knights Templar and ancient temples of Jerusalem. Driven to learn more, Cerner traced the stone's presence at the hotel back to 1987, when a local rancher reportedly found it and brought it into town. According to one version of the story, told to Cerner by former hotel owner Ed Sitzberger, the rancher, Milton McDaniel, had discovered the pillar in the Valle Vidal area while scouting grazing land. Uncertain of its significance, McDaniel brought it back to Cimarron, where it was displayed in the hotel lobby as an artifact of curiosity. However, a member of the McDaniel family later contacted a news outlet to dispute this account, suggesting the stone had been found on their private property, not in the Valle Vidal. The ambiguity surrounding the pillar's origin only deepened the mystery. Cerner reached out to archaeologists, historians, and religious scholars in search of answers. He contacted institutions like the University of New Mexico and the Office of the State Historian, hoping someone would take interest in the unique find, but his efforts were largely met with silence or disinterest. Experts hesitated to weigh in, especially since the stone was no longer in its original location. Without it being in situ or found and studied in place, some researchers dismissed it as potentially inauthentic or not worthy of official inquiry. Yet Cerner's investigation didn't end there. After years of persistence, he eventually connected with an archaeologist from the Cuesta district of the Carson National Forest. To his astonishment, the archaeologist confirmed the existence of a second stone pillar, still in its original location, in a small cemetery within the Valle Vidal. Like the first, this pillar displayed similar carvings and design, suggesting a connection between the two. Though the location has been kept secret to prevent vandalism, the second pillar provided crucial validation that Cerna's discovery was not an isolated artifact. Unlike typical gravestones, this second pillar bore no names, dates, or conventional memorial inscriptions. Cerna believes that settlers or trappers may have misinterpreted the pillar's sacred appearance and buried their dead near it out of respect or superstition. He is convinced that both stones are relics from another time and place, objects brought to New Mexico from the Middle East, possibly as part of a secret colonization effort or symbolic message. Cerna has identified several key features that reinforce his theory. The Templar crosses, the architectural shapes resembling parapets found in ancient temples, and symbols like cups, stars, and even what may be a menorah or an Egyptian sun symbol, all suggest religious or spiritual significance. He has consulted with rabbis and historians who have offered additional insights into the iconography. Some have speculated the carvings may represent sacred messages or be part of a navigational code intended for those who followed. To Cerna, the message behind the pillars remains open to interpretation. He believes they were placed deliberately, possibly as a signpost for a forgotten mission or community. The 8-point star carved into one of the pillars is especially meaningful. Used by the Knights Templar and other ancient orders, the symbol represents balance, harmony, and spiritual awakening. It is not a stretch to imagine it being used to mark a sacred location or a hidden path. What frustrates Cerna is the lack of support he has received from official channels. Without institutional interest or resources, his investigation remains mostly a personal endeavor. Despite this, he remains committed to uncovering the truth. At his age, he feels the urgency of solving the mystery before time runs out, but he also hopes his work will inspire future researchers to pick up where he leaves off. In the end, Louis Cerna's discovery and tireless pursuit of answers serve as a reminder that even in well-traveled regions, mysteries from the past can still emerge. Whether the stone pillars were left behind by early explorers, religious emissaries, or others lost to history, they have captured the imagination of one dedicated historian, and perhaps one day they will reveal their secrets to the world. The mysterious disappearance of Carl Herbert Landers from Mount Shasta. Carl Herbert Landers, a 69-year-old man from Orinda, California, set out on May 21, 1999, with the goal of summiting Mount Shasta, a towering peak located north of Sacramento. Accompanied by two close friends, Milton Gaines and Barry Gilmore, both members of the Orinda Roadrunners, Landers was prepared for a challenging but rewarding climb. He was an experienced outdoorsman and had trained for the expedition, making his sudden and complete disappearance all the more baffling. Landers and his friends camped at Lake Helen, an 8,800-foot elevation site commonly used by climbers attempting to summit Mount Shasta. The group planned to take a gradual approach, acclimating themselves to the altitude before making their final push to the summit. However, Landers began to feel unwell at the camp. His two companions suggested that he take an early start on the hike while they caught up with him later. They assumed he would move at a slower pace due to his condition, giving them time to overtake him before reaching the summit. That was the last time anyone ever saw him. When Landers failed to return to base camp or show any signs of making contact, concern quickly grew. His two friends began searching for him but found no indication of where he had gone. When he did not reappear, local authorities were contacted and a full-scale search operation was launched. Despite the swift response, no evidence of Landers' whereabouts could be found. The search effort was extensive, involving professional mountain rescue teams and experienced searchers who were familiar with Mount Shasta's terrain. The operation was led by veteran search and rescue expert Grizz Adams, who had over 20 years of experience in locating missing hikers. Multiple agencies participated, including the U.S. Forest Service, local sheriff's offices, and volunteer groups. A California Highway Patrol helicopter equipped with an infrared sensing device was deployed to scan the rugged landscape for any heat signatures that might indicate Landers' location. 2 National Guard helicopters were also brought in to assist in covering the vast and treacherous terrain. Searchers combed through trails, cliffs, and crevices, following every possible lead. They scoured the likely paths landers would have taken, checked dangerous fall zones, and inspected creeks and snowfields. Volunteers and fellow hikers joined the search, hoping to find any clue that might explain what happened to him. Despite these exhaustive efforts, no trace of Landers was ever found. There were no footprints, discarded items, or any signs that he had wandered off the main trail. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Landers' disappearance remains one of the most perplexing mysteries associated with Mount Shasta. The region has long been the subject of folklore and strange occurrences, with reports of unexplained disappearances dating back decades. Some speculate that Mount Shasta's unpredictable weather conditions or hidden crevasses could have swallowed Landers, but given the extensive search efforts, it remains unclear why no evidence was ever discovered. His case bears eerie similarities to the disappearance of John Nezza, an 80-year-old climber who vanished on Mount Shasta on July 17, 1965. Nezza was a seasoned climber who had summited the mountain over 40 times. On the day he disappeared, he left most of his gear behind at the Sierra Club cabin at Horse Camp, intending to complete what should have been a routine climb. Last seen near Lake Helen, the same area where Landers was last spotted, Nezza disappeared without a trace. Searchers at the time followed reports of buzzards circling the Red Banks area above Lake Helen, believing they might be scavenging remains, but nothing was ever found. Despite similarities between their disappearances, no concrete connection has been established between Landers and Nezza's cases. Both men were experienced climbers and were last seen in the same general area, yet no definitive explanation exists for what happened to them. Some believe that the high-altitude environment and treacherous terrain of Mount Shasta may conceal dangers that make recovery efforts nearly impossible. Others suggest that disorientation or altitude sickness could have played a role, leading them to wander into inaccessible regions of the mountain. Over the years, Mount Shasta has developed a reputation for unusual disappearances, leading to speculation beyond natural causes. Some theories involve hidden underground caves, sudden weather changes, or even supernatural elements that have long been associated with the mountain. While such ideas remain speculative, the complete lack of physical evidence in cases like Landers' disappearance fuels the mystery. Even after 25 years, not a single clue has surfaced regarding what happened to Landers. His family and friends have been left without answers, and those who participated in the search remain haunted by the fact that an experienced hiker could disappear so completely, despite an extensive and immediate search effort. To this day, Carl Landers' disappearance remains one of the most baffling cases in Mount Shasta's history. It serves as a stark reminder of the unpredictability of nature and the unknown forces that sometimes surround those who venture into the wilderness. The mystery of Joshua Maddox. In 2008, Joshua Maddox, then 18, was a typical Coloradoan living in Teller County's Pike National Forest. He loved nature and hiking, so when he left to go on a walk one day, nobody thought anything of it until he failed to return that night. For months after Josh vanished, people conducted searches all throughout the region in the hopes of finding him alive, or at the very least, learning more about his possible whereabouts. He was on the missing persons list for years, nevertheless, and was never located. In an apparently unconnected sequence of events, a builder chose to demolish an old, dilapidated cottage in the woods that had been abandoned for more than 10 years in order to start developing the land it stood on in 2015. The builder entered the cabin for the first time in a long time before it was demolished, to make sure everything was in working order. He noted that the cabin smelled strongly of rot and decay, but he put it down to the numerous animals that had taken up residence in the dilapidated structure over the years. However, as the demolition process began, with the chimney being disassembled in order to salvage the bricks, workmen were shocked to find a young man's body inside, which they assumed was the cause of the stench. Joshua Maddox's body was positively identified by his dental records, which the police and coroner used to identify and remove the remains. Given that Maddox was discovered in a fetal posture, with his feet above his head and his legs curled up under his chest, detectives surmised that he may have become stuck while attempting to explore the abandoned building. There are many who disagree with the coroner's estimate, despite the fact that the autopsy revealed no signs of trauma or suspicious chemicals and declared the passing to be accidental. For instance, the heavy breakfast bar that had been forcefully taken from the wall and dragged in front of the chimney to hide it had vanished, as had the heavy metal grate that had covered it. The fact that Joshua willingly went up the chimney head first and that his clothes were discovered folded inside the cottage close to the fireplace further puzzled people. When he'd entered the chimney, all he had on was a light thermal shirt. The authorities never found out what had really happened, and the case is still unsolved. The mysterious Gedi ruins. Tucked away in a dense forest along the coast of Kenya, near the Indian Ocean, lie the mysterious Gedi ruins, a haunting remnant of a once thriving, advanced civilization. These ruins have challenged the long-standing stereotype that African civilizations were technologically behind their global counterparts. In fact, the remains of Gedi present a different narrative. One of innovation, connectivity, and architectural sophistication that dates as far back as the 13th century. Archaeological findings at Gedi have revealed surprising technological advances for a medieval African town. The structures discovered include intricate homes, mosques, a palace, and carefully laid out streets that reflect a highly organized urban setting. More impressively, some of the homes were equipped with flushing toilets and running water systems, a level of infrastructure rarely associated with settlements from this period in East Africa. The design and layout of the town suggest a people who were not only resourceful, but also deeply concerned with hygiene, planning, and efficient communal living. The residents of Gedi are believed to have been Muslim traders, part of the larger Swahili culture that spanned the East African coastline. Artifacts discovered at the site, such as beads from Venice, porcelain from China, and glassware from Persia, strongly suggest that the town was integrated into a far-reaching global trade network. This cross-cultural exchange indicates a flourishing economy and a society that was open to the world, connected to far-off regions through maritime commerce. It also points to the prosperity of the inhabitants and the cultural richness of the community. Yet, despite its advancement and apparent success, something puzzling occurred. By the 17th century, the people of Gedi had vanished. The town was suddenly abandoned, left to the jungle, which has since consumed much of its former glory. The departure was so complete and abrupt that it left no known written records, no personal documents, and no definitive clues about why such a place would be left behind. Several theories have been proposed over the years to explain Gedi's disappearance. One possibility is invasion. Some historians have speculated that a hostile enemy might have overtaken the city, forcing its inhabitants to flee or leaving them unable to return. However, there is no clear archaeological evidence of violence or destruction, no scorched structures, no weapons, and no signs of mass conflict. The town appears to have been left intact, albeit empty, which casts doubt on the idea of an aggressive takeover. Another hypothesis involves environmental change. Given Gedi's dependence on access to fresh water, it's been suggested that the Indian Ocean's coastline may have receded, affecting the local water table and rendering the town's wells unusable. If true, this could have prompted a slow exodus as life became unsustainable. However, without direct evidence of such geological shifts at the time, this remains purely speculative. Some believe that foreign travelers, possibly European explorers or traders, might have unintentionally brought an illness with them, one to which the local population had no immunity. The idea that a contagious sickness spread quickly through the population and left the town deserted fits some historical patterns seen in other regions. Still, there are no burial sites, bones, or other physical remnants to support this notion at Gedi. The lack of written documentation about the town adds another layer to the mystery. Most major Swahili cities had some form of written tradition, and considering the advanced nature of Gedi, it seems unusual that no written texts, records, or inscriptions were left behind. The silence in the historical record has led some to believe that Gedi may have been deliberately hidden or its story intentionally erased, though by whom and for what reason remains unknown. Today, the Gedi ruins are protected as a historical site and remain a source of fascination for archaeologists, historians, and travelers alike. Moss-covered walls and half-standing arches peek through the thick undergrowth, offering a ghostly glimpse into a lost world. The area maintains an aura of mystery, enhanced by local legends that speak of spirits guarding the ruins and sacred grounds best left undisturbed. What makes Gedi particularly compelling is not just its sudden disappearance, but the questions it raises about African history and the broader human story. The ruins remind us that Africa has long held civilizations of great complexity, connected through trade and culture to the rest of the world. They challenge simplified narratives and encourage deeper exploration into the rich tapestry of African heritage. In the absence of clear answers, Gedi's story continues to inspire curiosity. It invites modern scholars to question assumptions and search for forgotten chapters of history that have been overlooked or underestimated. Whether the town was abandoned due to natural causes, health crises, or social pressures, its remains stand as a monument to human achievement, resilience, and the mysteries that time refuses to fully explain. The mystery of Anton Pilipa. The mysterious case of Anton Pilipa is one of the most astonishing and heart-stirring stories of human endurance and resilience in recent years. A man who vanished from his life in Vancouver, Canada in 2012, Anton reappeared 5 years later in one of the most unexpected places on Earth, the Amazon rainforest of Brazil. His journey spanned over 6,500 miles across at least 10 countries, mostly on foot, and largely without the basic necessities many would consider essential for survival. Anton Pilipa, a former humanitarian worker, had been known for his compassionate nature and dedication to helping others. Throughout his early life, he worked for various organizations across Canada. However, over time, he began facing challenges with his health, which made daily life increasingly difficult. His family, deeply concerned, tried to support him as best they could, but when Anton disappeared in 2012 without leaving any explanation, it left his loved ones devastated and searching for answers. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and eventually, years passed without a single clue. As time wore on, the hope that he might be found alive slowly faded. That hope was suddenly reignited shortly after Christmas, 5 years after his disappearance, when the Brazilian authorities contacted Anton's family. A police officer named Helenis Campos had spotted a disheveled man walking barefoot down a dirt road in the Amazon region. Something about him seemed different from the local population. His light features, foreign demeanor, and his silence all raised questions. Initially mistaking him for a beggar, Officer Campos felt compelled to help and decided to investigate further. With the help of international agencies and consulates, she was eventually able to identify the man as Anton Pilipa. The revelation was nothing short of miraculous for his family. They were stunned to learn that not only was Anton alive, but he had somehow made an unimaginable journey across multiple countries and survived the perils of nature almost entirely unaided. Anton's trek took him through the United States, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, and finally, into Brazil. Without a passport or identification, it's still unclear how he managed to cross so many borders without being detained. His journey was not glamorous or easy. He traveled mostly barefoot, lived off foraged fruits and berries, rummaged through trash for food and clothing, and occasionally caught rides on trucks as a stowaway. He faced theft, exposure to harsh climates, and the risk of dangerous wildlife such as venomous snakes, wild cats, and insects in the jungle. Yet despite all of this, he kept moving. When asked why he made the journey, Anton's answer was both puzzling and poignant. He claimed his goal had been to reach the National Library of Buenos Aires in Argentina. The library held some sort of mysterious significance for him, perhaps symbolic, perhaps spiritual. However, when he finally arrived, he was denied entry due to having no identification. Undeterred, but with his goal out of reach, Anton simply moved on, eventually heading into Brazil. During his time on the road, Anton remained largely isolated. Despite being surrounded by people in cities and villages, he was unable to communicate much due to the language barrier. Though he spent years in South America, he never learned to speak Spanish or Portuguese. Still, he insisted he never truly felt alone. He described his time traveling as a period of deep thought and simplicity, where he came to believe that human beings need very little to survive. What kept him going remains somewhat of a mystery. Some believe it was his inner strength and spirit. Others think it may have been driven by the challenges he was facing. He admitted he received both kindness and hostility on his journey, with some strangers offering help while others took what little he had. In his own words, he experienced hardship, but also remarkable generosity. Anton's return to society was not without its difficulties. After being discovered, he was temporarily housed in a Brazilian health facility to await his family's arrival. Years of solitude, exposure to the elements, and a life lived in constant survival mode had taken a toll. He found the transition back to an indoor life difficult, but once reunited with his brother, sister-in-law, and nieces and nephews, his recovery slowly began. His brother, who flew to Brazil to bring him home, remarked that they had found Anton just in time. Reconnecting with loved ones helped him regain his sense of identity and begin the healing process. Anton himself expressed how fortunate he felt to be alive, to have been found, and to be back with his family. Now living in Toronto, Anton resides with his brother's family, taking steps toward rebuilding his life. His story has captured the attention of people around the world, not just because of the sheer physical challenge of his journey, but because of the emotional depth and mystery that surrounds it. There is a quiet power in his story, one that speaks to the endurance of the human spirit, the mysteries of the mind, and the strange, sometimes surreal twists that real life can take. Though many questions remain unanswered, how exactly he managed to travel so far without documentation, how he survived so many risks, and what truly drove him to leave in the first place, Anton Pilipa's journey continues to inspire. It reminds people that even in a world full of uncertainty and struggle, hope can resurface when least expected, and even the most extraordinary paths may lead back home. Deep within the dense forests, a man stumbled upon a giant wall, a mysterious structure that has sparked intrigue and speculation. The story begins with a man, an avid hiker and amateur archaeologist who frequently explored the Siberian wilderness. On a particularly long expedition in the summer, the man said that he ventured deeper into the forest than ever before. As he navigated through the thick underbrush and towering trees, he came across something utterly unexpected, a massive wall, partially obscured by vegetation but unmistakably artificial in its construction. The wall, which many have said is stretching over a mile in length and standing approximately 20 meters high, appeared to be made of large, tightly fitted stones. Despite the passage of time, the structure showed remarkable integrity, with only minor signs of weathering and erosion. The stones suggest a level of engineering sophistication that seemed incongruous with the known history of the region. The man's discovery quickly attracted attention. After documenting his find with photographs and videos, he shared the information with social media groups in order to get to the bottom of the mysterious structure. A team of archaeologists and historians was assembled to investigate the site, hoping to uncover the origins and purpose of the mysterious wall. The initial examination revealed several intriguing aspects. The discovery of the wall has given rise to numerous theories and speculations. Megalithic stone walls are renowned for their construction techniques, which often involve the precise cutting and fitting of massive stones. Some of these stones weigh several tons, and their placement would have required significant manpower and advanced engineering skills. The stones are typically fitted together with such precision that a knife blade cannot be inserted between them. Some researchers believe that certain megalithic walls were constructed as part of religious or ceremonial sites. The precise alignments and orientations of the stones in relation to astronomical events suggest that these structures may have had significant cultural and spiritual importance. The presence of similar construction techniques and architectural styles in different parts of the world raises questions about cultural interconnections and the spread of knowledge. While it is unlikely that these ancient societies had direct contact with each other, the similarities in their constructions suggest parallel developments in engineering and architecture. This phenomenon could be attributed to shared human ingenuity and the universal challenges of building durable structures. One of the most prominent theories suggests that the wall is the remnant of an ancient civilization previously unknown to historians. This civilization, perhaps contemporaneous with or even predating known cultures such as the Scythians or the Mongols, might have constructed the wall for defensive purposes, as a territorial marker, or for ceremonial use. The scale and sophistication of the construction imply a society with advanced engineering capabilities and organizational skills. Some researchers have proposed that the wall could be a natural formation, the result of unique geological processes, or possibly even placed there. They argue that the regularity of the stones and their arrangement could be explained by natural fractures and weathering patterns. However, the precision of the construction and the presence of inscriptions make this theory less convincing to many researchers. In the realm of more speculative theories, some have suggested that the wall could be evidence of extraterrestrial influence. Proponents of this idea point to the inexplicable engineering techniques and the use of non-local materials as indicators that the wall might have been constructed with the assistance of or inspired by visitors. While this theory captures the imagination, it lacks empirical support and is generally not favored by the scientific community. The discovery of the giant wall in Siberia has significant implications for our understanding of history and archaeology. If the wall is indeed the product of an ancient civilization, its discovery could necessitate a re-evaluation of the history of human settlement and development in Siberia. It might reveal new insights into migration patterns, technological advancements, and cultural exchanges in prehistoric times. Such a finding would enrich our understanding of human history and the complexities of early civilizations. The investigation of the wall has also highlighted the importance of integrating modern technology with traditional archaeological methods. Techniques such as ground-penetrating radar, 3D imaging, and drone surveys have been employed to explore the site more comprehensively, allowing researchers to gather detailed data without intrusive excavation. These advancements could revolutionize the field of archaeology, enabling more precise and less invasive exploration of historical sites. This man found 2 mysterious stone spheres. People began speculating about the 2 enormous stone spheres that a man had recently discovered concealed inside a forest. Many explanations have already been offered for what they are, such as being space junk or remnants of an extinct society. Head of the Space Policy Institute scientist Ivan Moiseev clarified that NASA can detect asteroids as small as 2 meters, which is roughly the size of these stone balls. He added that if these had really fallen from space, the Space Institute would have found evidence of them passing through the atmosphere. Alexander Ivanov, the director of the Center for Astronomy and Cosmonautics, agreed with this notion. It has been stated that shortly after their discovery, individuals dressed in military uniforms hit them with hammers. There is currently very little information available on them, but according to one user, the people in question are employed by the local forest service, and they damaged the stone spheres as soon as they learned about them. One of the workers said that they did this in order to avoid violations of environmental legislation. Those who live nearby and were aware of the finding opposed this, arguing that the city should have taken them in for inspection or allowed the public to view them. Only a few websites have currently featured this subject, and it's unclear exactly when they were found and why they were destroyed. It's interesting to note that this stone ball reminded several people of Costa Rica's stone spheres. The stone balls have been mentioned numerous times throughout history, and while there is still disagreement on their provenance and their function, some archaeologists have hypothesized that they served as representations of solar systems. These spheres, which are dispersed across Costa Rica's jungles, were first discovered in the Teraba River Delta and have since been located as far north as the Estrella Valley and as far south as the mouth of the Coto Colorado River. The objects were enormous, with most measuring up to 2 meters in diameter and weighing over 16 tons, so it doesn't seem like a simple task. It was once thought that these spheres had a function in that they matched constellations in the sky, and that these tails reflected the constellation from which the gods had come, according to ancient Costa Rican mythology and evidence uncovered by archaeologists. According to amateur scholars who have spent countless years studying these stones, the spheres may have functioned as an early star chart, representing a very particular constellation as described by the ancient gods in an effort to reveal to humankind their home planet when the time was right. Unfortunately, after being found, the Costa Rican stone spheres were either removed from their original site by archaeologists and researchers or taken by treasure seekers who thought the spheres held gold treasures that could be sold on markets, precious antiques, or ancient artifacts. Because of this, the actual nature and archaeological context of the dispersed spheres are dubious at best. While a small number of stones may still remain in their original locations, hundreds more have either been completely destroyed, taken, or swept away by regional flooding. Despite the potential value of the remaining stones in terms of archaeological context and discovery, the discovery has, for some odd reason, remained mostly unrecognized and unacknowledged since it was made back in the 1940s. Curiously, residents in several parts of Brazil have claimed to have found these in undeveloped regions, only to learn that they had been taken out soon after. Stories such as these have led some people to speculate that the true origins of the spheres are unknown and that we will never know their true purpose until more investigation can be done. Several people have taken a different approach and suggested that these objects must be of special interest because officials are flown in to investigate and assess the damage shortly after reports of strange objects making contact with the ground. This is not the first time that strange objects have been observed making contact with the ground. Some witnesses who were in the area when these objects made contact with the ground have offered some intriguing theories. They also claim to have seen mysterious lights flashing moments before the objects made contact with the ground, and to have even had a close-up look at the object when it landed a few hundred meters away. The first people on the scene have stated that they are unable to identify the object in issue, but they have noted that the military is nearby and that they will be removing it for everyone's safety. This has occurred in a number of nations, including the UK, Mexico, Brazil, Australia, and the United States. Soon after seeing these items, witnesses expressed confusion over the reason behind the large number of authorities that they saw in the area and stated that the mysterious lights that were observed a few days prior to the object's descent could not be explained by a satellite or meteorite. According to amateur researchers, dense forests appear to be the location of a diverse spectrum of unexplained sightings, as well as unusual encounters that typically remain unexplained. Many people have reported seeing unusual occurrences in these areas over the years, but the lack of explanations has just let people's imaginations run wild. The Amazon rainforest has always captivated people with its enigmatic and captivating nature. For centuries, it has remained a subject of fascination and wonder. The area is renowned for its remarkable range of wildlife and the presence of indigenous communities with their unique customs and traditions. However, it has also become a focal point for the unearthing of man-made structures that have puzzled experts and given rise to intriguing theories about the past of this region. In addition to its abundant biodiversity and cultural diversity, this area has captivated researchers with the emergence of artificial constructions that continue to astound. One of the most remarkable instances that showcases man-made constructions in the Amazon rainforest is the presence of structures commonly referred to as pyramids, or large square mounds, which serve as a captivating sight amidst the dense jungle vegetation, breaking through the canopy. Throughout the region, there are extensive and grand structures that have been discovered, with indications suggesting that they originate from pre-Columbian eras, although certain experts posit the possibility of an even more ancient origin. These remarkable architectural marvels, known for their scale and magnitude, are spread across the area and offer valuable insights into the past civilizations that once thrived there. The assortment of large objects is incredibly diverse, encompassing various shapes like circles and rectangles. These objects range massively in size, with some extending for more than a mile in length. When observing these objects, one can easily appreciate their grandeur, as they occupy a significant amount of space within the jungle. In recent years, advancements in drone and satellite technology have unveiled numerous hidden structures within the jungle. These remarkable discoveries were only made possible due to the ability of researchers to observe the jungle from an aerial perspective, a development that has occurred in the last few decades. Through the use of drones and satellites, scientists have gained a comprehensive understanding of the jungle's intricate architectural marvels, which were previously concealed from human eyes. As a result of this phenomenon, numerous captivating revelations have come to light, prompting archaeologists and researchers to assert that the Amazon rainforest is highly probable to shelter numerous hidden constructions. The vast expanse of the Amazon rainforest, with its dense vegetation and challenging terrain, has concealed a plethora of remarkable archaeological wonders. The Amazon rainforest, apart from its remarkable man-made structures, is also known for its rich repository of ancient ruins and fascinating artifacts. Explorations into this dense and biodiverse ecosystem have yielded numerous reports shedding light on the secrets concealed within its depths. The lost cities of the Amazon have always captivated the imagination with their mysterious existence. These ancient settlements, now in ruins, hold a wealth of intrigue as they unveil glimpses of a forgotten civilization. Stories of their abandonment centuries ago only add to their allure. These urban centers are widely believed to have been constructed by highly sophisticated pre-Columbian civilizations, prompting speculation among researchers about the existence of an intricate network of transportation infrastructure connecting them. This network likely consisted of an extensive system of roads and waterways that facilitated long-distance trade and communication between these cities. The presence of such a complex transportation network suggests that these societies possessed a level of organization and technological advancement. Although significant findings have been made, it is important to note that the examination of the ancient history of the Amazon rainforest is still in its early stages, leaving an abundance of unexplored territory. The investigation into the past of this vast and diverse ecosystem has only just begun, with countless secrets awaiting discovery. Studying this particular region presents a myriad of challenges, and one among them is the presence of extensive and impenetrable vegetation that envelops the landscape. This dense vegetation poses significant hurdles when it comes to the identification and excavation of ancient sites that may lie hidden beneath its verdant cover. It hinders researchers and archaeologists who are striving to uncover the truth. The Amazon, a vast and intricate ecosystem, presents a multitude of challenges when it comes to understanding how ancient civilizations navigated and engaged with their surroundings. This complex and ever-evolving environment poses a significant obstacle in unraveling the intricate relationship between human societies and the Amazonian landscape. In spite of the numerous obstacles they face, scientists persist in uncovering captivating revelations within the vast expanse of the Amazon rainforest, providing a deeper understanding of the fascinating and multifaceted past that permeates this extraordinary area. With every new finding, be it the vast geoglyphs etched into the Earth's surface, the fertile terra preta soils that nurture the Amazonian rainforest, or the enigmatic remains of ancient civilizations tucked away in hidden corners, our knowledge about the enduring inhabitants of the Amazon deepens. As our knowledge about these ancient civilizations continues to grow, our understanding of their remarkable legacy deepens. The more we delve into their societies, the more we come to appreciate the truly awe-inspiring impact they have made on the world. The Amazon rainforest, renowned for its exceptional range of plant and animal species, encompasses not only natural wonders, but also extraordinary man-made structures that provide valuable insights into the ancient civilizations that once thrived in this region. Contrary to the prevailing belief that the Amazon rainforest remained untouched by human activity until the arrival of Europeans, recent archaeological findings have challenged this notion, shedding light on the fact that indigenous communities have inhabited the Amazon for more than 13,000 years. Delving deeper into the subject, it becomes evident that the Amazon rainforest is not merely an untamed wilderness, but also an abode of human history and cultural significance. These discoveries add a new dimension to our understanding of the vast biodiversity and complex relationship between humans and nature in this enigmatic rainforest. One of the most remarkable illustrations of ancient structures can be seen in the Amazon through the geoglyphs, or earthworks, referred to as the Amazonian earthworks. These monumental patterns and intricate designs were formed by the deliberate removal of the top layer of soil, revealing the distinct color and texture of the underlying subsoil. The creation of these geoglyphs can be attributed to pre-Columbian societies that existed between 500 BCE and 1500 CE, and they are predominantly situated in regions that are currently covered by dense forests. The geoglyphs of the Amazon region, also known as Amazonian earthworks, serve as an exceptional testament to the ingenuity and artistic prowess of ancient civilizations. The purpose of these geoglyphs is still unknown, although theories range from ritual and astronomical purposes to markers for sacred spaces. The largest known Amazonian earthwork is the Sajama Lines in Bolivia, which runs for over 15 miles and is made up of straight lines, circles, and other geometric shapes. The Sajama Lines are so large that they can only be fully appreciated from the air, which has led some to speculate that the builders may have had a means of flight. In the diverse ecosystem of the Amazon rainforest, there is yet another fascinating structure known as the raised fields of the Bolivian Amazon. These distinctive fields, constructed by forming walls using a combination of soil and organic materials, are strategically elevated above the floodplain. The purpose behind this ingenious method is to shield valuable crops from the detrimental effects of flooding while simultaneously enhancing the fertility of the soil, ultimately leading to a more bountiful and productive agricultural output. By meticulously building these raised fields, the indigenous communities in the Bolivian Amazon have successfully mitigated the adverse impact of seasonal flooding. The Amazon rainforest not only boasts of its remarkable natural beauty, but also holds a treasure trove of archaeological sites that offer invaluable glimpses into the lives of ancient civilizations. These man-made structures, standing alongside the lush greenery, provide fascinating insights into the cultural and historical richness of the region. Through extensive excavations, archaeologists have unearthed compelling evidence of advanced societies that thrived in this dense rainforest. These ancient peoples engaged in complex trade networks with neighboring regions, showcasing their skilled craftsmanship through intricately designed pottery. Kuhikugu, an ancient city that thrived from 1050 to 1400 CE, stands out as an exemplary site that showcased the sophistication of its inhabitants. This city, strategically located on a series of terraces, exhibited an intricate network of canals and causeways, indicating its pivotal role as a bustling hub for trade and commerce. Furthermore, archaeological findings have shed light on the skilled craftsmanship prevalent in Kuhikugu through the discovery of exquisite pottery and evidence of advanced metalworking techniques. Notably, it is fascinating to note that residents of this remarkable city also engaged in the consumption of psychoactive substances. The Amazon rainforest, often perceived as an untamed and impenetrable expanse, is home to remarkable man-made structures and archaeological sites that provide us with a profound understanding of the region's incredibly diverse history. These discoveries effectively challenge the prevailing belief that the Amazon remained untouched by human presence until the arrival of European settlers. Instead, they vividly demonstrate that indigenous communities have inhabited this lush region for countless millennia, continuously shaping and nurturing the land with their profound knowledge and sustainable practices. By delving into the depths of the Amazon rainforest, we uncover a tapestry of cultural heritage and human ingenuity that has thrived in this magnificent ecosystem. The preservation of valuable archaeological sites is being severely jeopardized by the rapid destruction of the Amazon rainforest, which is primarily caused by deforestation and various other human activities. It is of utmost importance that immediate measures are taken to safeguard and conserve these structures, not only because they hold immense historical and cultural significance, but also because they possess the potential to provide us with invaluable insights into sustainable practices that can be applied to contemporary agriculture and land management techniques. The Amazon rainforest, with its rich biodiversity and abundant resources, serves as a crucial habitat for numerous species and plays a vital role in maintaining the ecological balance of our planet. However, the relentless deforestation efforts and human-induced activities are swiftly eroding this pristine forest, consequently endangering various archaeological sites. At present, the Amazon rainforest holds immense ecological significance, serving as a valuable sanctuary for diverse plant and animal species. However, it is not just a natural wonderland, it also holds a profound historical legacy. Unearthing ancient constructions and archaeological sites within this region deeply challenges our preconceived notions about its past, shedding light on the remarkable civilizations that once thrived here. This underscores the critical need to safeguard these cultural treasures and ensure their preservation for generations to come. By protecting and studying these remnants of human history, we can gain deeper insights into the societal structures and technological advancements that have been left behind. A man has posted a mysterious photograph on social media, saying that he was watching the Yellowstone live cameras when something huge caught his attention in the distance. He described it as looking like a large humanoid and said that he often watches the Yellowstone live cameras, and this is the first time that he's ever seen anything this big before. Due to it being humanoid in shape, he quickly decided to take a screenshot, as the Yellowstone cameras work by refreshing roughly every 30 seconds. As he scanned the live camera footage, his keen eye caught a movement in the distance, a dark shape weaving between the towering trees and dense undergrowth. At first, he dismissed it as a trick of the light or a passing animal, but as he went in for a closer look, he could tell that this wasn't the local wildlife. There, unmistakably silhouetted against the backdrop of the forest, stood a towering figure, humanoid in shape, but distinctly different from any known species. The creature's massive frame stood out, and its unmistakable outline bore a striking resemblance to the legendary Bigfoot, a creature of myth and folklore said to inhabit the remote wilderness areas of North America. The man said he wanted to capture photographic proof of the elusive creature before it vanished back into the depths of the forest, and so decided to take a screenshot. As he adjusted the focus and zoomed in on the distant figure, he marveled at its sheer size and apparent strength, dwarfing the surrounding trees with its towering stature. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that something mysterious has been sighted inside Yellowstone National Park. In the vast and rugged wilderness of Yellowstone National Park, among the towering trees and mist-shrouded valleys, there exists a mystery that has fascinated adventurers and researchers for generations: the elusive and enigmatic creature known as Bigfoot. While skeptics may dismiss the existence of Bigfoot as mere myth or legend, a closer examination of the evidence reveals a compelling tapestry of sightings and encounters that cannot be easily explained away. For decades, reports of Bigfoot sightings in Yellowstone have emerged from the depths of the park's remote forests and rugged backcountry, drawing curious onlookers and intrepid researchers in search of answers. These sightings span a wide range of locations and circumstances, from hikers stumbling upon massive footprints in the mud to campers awakening to the eerie sound of distant howls echoing through the night. One such encounter occurred in the summer of 2019, when a group of backpackers embarked on a multi-day trek through the remote wilderness of Yellowstone's Lamar Valley. As they made their way along the rugged trails, their senses heightened by the pristine beauty of the surrounding landscape, they were suddenly struck by an overwhelming sense of unease. It began with a series of strange noises emanating from the dense undergrowth, a low, guttural growl that sent shivers down their spines and raised the hairs on the back of their necks. As they cautiously approached the source of the sound, their eyes widened in disbelief at the sight before them: a towering figure, nearly 8 feet tall and covered in dark, matted fur, standing amidst the trees. In the fading light of the setting sun, the creature's massive frame cast a long shadow across the forest floor, its piercing eyes glinting with an otherworldly intelligence. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the backpackers and the creature locked eyes, each silently sizing up the other in a tense standoff. As the tension reached a fever pitch, the creature let out a primal roar that reverberated through the valley, sending the backpackers scrambling for safety. With adrenaline-fueled determination, they raced back along the trail, their hearts pounding in their chests as they struggled to put distance between themselves and the mysterious creature lurking in the shadows. For the backpackers and others who have encountered Bigfoot in Yellowstone, the experience leaves an indelible mark on their psyche, forever altering their perceptions of the natural world and the mysteries that lie within. While skeptics may dismiss such encounters as mere hallucinations or misidentifications of known wildlife, the sheer volume and consistency of eyewitness reports suggest otherwise. Yellowstone's vast and remote wilderness provides the perfect habitat for a creature like Bigfoot to thrive, a place where dense forests, rugged terrain, and limited human presence offer ample opportunity for elusive creatures to remain hidden from prying eyes. And while the scientific community may remain skeptical of Bigfoot's existence, the evidence continues to mount, compelling researchers and enthusiasts alike to explore the depths of the park in search of answers. As of right now, Bigfoot sightings in Yellowstone National Park offer a tantalizing glimpse into the mysteries of the natural world and the creatures that inhabit its remote corners. While skeptics may scoff at the notion of a large, humanoid creature lurking in the shadows, eyewitness accounts and compelling evidence suggest that there may be more to the legend of Bigfoot than meets the eye. Throughout the annals of history, spanning countless millennia, ancient cultures across the United States have shared tales of encounters with large humanoid creatures that roam the land. From the towering giants of Native American lore to the legendary Sasquatch of modern folklore, these stories offer a fascinating glimpse into the rich tapestry of myth and legend that has shaped the cultural landscape of the continent. For centuries, Native American tribes have passed down oral traditions that speak of encounters with giant beings who roamed the wilderness long before the arrival of European settlers. These beings, known by various names such as the Si-Te-Ka among the Paiute people of Nevada or the Hiawatha giants among the Iroquois of the Northeast, were said to possess immense size and strength, towering over ordinary humans like towering sentinels of the ancient world. One such tale comes from the legends of the Cherokee people, who speak of a race of giants known as the Yunwi Tsunsdi, or Little People, who once inhabited the mountains and forests of the southeast. According to Cherokee legend, these giants were skilled hunters and warriors who possessed supernatural abilities and wielded great power over the natural world. Similarly, the legends of the Choctaw people tell of a race of giants known as the Nalusa Falaya, or Long Black Being, who were said to inhabit the remote wilderness of the southeast. According to Choctaw tradition, these giants were fearsome creatures who stood taller than the tallest trees, their dark forms blending seamlessly with the shadows of the forest as they moved silently through the night. As European settlers began to push westward across the continent, encounters with large humanoid creatures continued to be reported, albeit under different names and guises. In the dense forests and rugged mountains of the Pacific Northwest, tales of the Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, have been a mainstay of Native American and settler lore for centuries. According to eyewitness accounts and Native American legends, Sasquatch is described as a large, ape-like creature standing between 6 and 10 feet tall, covered in dark fur and possessing immense strength and agility. While skeptics may dismiss these accounts as mere folklore or misidentifications of known wildlife, the sheer volume and consistency of eyewitness reports suggest otherwise. Indeed, sightings of Sasquatch have been reported by individuals from all walks of life, including hunters, hikers, and loggers, who claim to have encountered the creature firsthand in the remote wilderness of the Pacific Northwest. These encounters often involve fleeting glimpses of the creature darting between trees or disappearing into the underbrush, leaving behind only footprints and the lingering sense of unease. In recent years, advances in technology such as trail cameras and thermal imaging have led to an increase in the number of reported sightings and encounters with Sasquatch, as researchers and enthusiasts alike seek to unravel the mystery of this elusive creature. While definitive proof of Sasquatch's existence remains elusive, the wealth of eyewitness testimony and physical evidence suggests that there may be more to the legend than meets the eye. As of right now, the tales of encounters with large humanoid creatures in the United States are as diverse and varied as the cultures and landscapes from which they originate. From the towering giants of Native American lore to the legendary Sasquatch of modern folklore, these stories offer a fascinating glimpse into the rich tapestry of myth and legend that has shaped the cultural landscape of the continent for millennia. While skeptics may dismiss such tales as mere fantasy or exaggeration, the sheer volume and consistency of eyewitness reports suggest that there may be kernels of truth hidden within the depths of these ancient legends, waiting to be unearthed by intrepid explorers and researchers alike. In the vast and often mysterious wilderness of the United States, tales of encounters with mysterious creatures have persisted for decades, capturing the imagination of both believers and skeptics. Among these accounts, one particularly intriguing story stands out, that of a fisherman who claimed to have witnessed a Bigfoot emerging from a round hole made in a cluster of fallen trees. The fisherman, choosing to remain anonymous, was enjoying a tranquil day at his favorite fishing spot in a remote, undisclosed forested area of the Pacific Northwest Cascade Mountain. Abundant opportunities for excellent fishing can be found on the eastern slopes of the Cascade Mountains. Back in 2022, a local fisherman had ventured deeper into the forest than usual, following a stream that led him to a secluded area surrounded by fallen trees. As he settled down to fish, he noticed something unusual about the fallen trees. They appeared to form a rough circle, with a large round hole in the center where the trunks had collapsed. Curious and slightly unnerved, he approached the formation cautiously. It was then that he saw something that would forever change his perception of the wilderness. A large, hairy creature emerging from the hole. The creature, which the man described as standing over 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and covered in dark, matted fur, slowly crawled out of the hole. Its movements were deliberate, almost cautious, as if it were aware of being watched. The fisherman stated that he was frozen in shock, watched as the creature stood to its full height, scanned its surroundings, and then disappeared into the dense forest. Shaken and disbelieving, he quickly packed up his fishing gear and retreated to his car. The encounter left him questioning what he had seen, but he was certain that the creature was not a bear or any other known animal. Determined to find answers, he reported his sighting to local authorities and Bigfoot research organizations, hoping to shed light on his extraordinary experience. The man's account adds to the body of evidence suggesting that Bigfoot is a highly intelligent and elusive creature, capable of avoiding human detection. The creature's cautious emergence from the hole indicates an awareness of its surroundings and a potential aversion to humans. This behavior aligns with many other reports, where Bigfoot is often seen briefly before quickly disappearing. The unique setting of his sighting, with the round hole formed by fallen trees, raises questions about Bigfoot's interaction with its environment. The formation could suggest that the creature uses natural shelters for protection or as a means of concealment. Understanding these behaviors could provide insights into how Bigfoot survives and navigates its habitat. The man's encounter highlights the need for continued research and investigation into Bigfoot sightings. While anecdotal evidence alone cannot confirm the creature's existence, it can guide researchers to potential hotspots and behaviors. Advances in technology, such as drone surveillance and DNA analysis, offer new tools for exploring these mysteries. The Pacific Northwest, encompassing regions of Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, is characterized by dense forests, rugged mountains, and vast wilderness areas. This region provides an ideal habitat for a large, elusive creature like Bigfoot, offering ample cover and resources. The remoteness and inaccessibility of many areas in this region contribute to the difficulty of studying and proving the existence of such a creature. In the summer of 2015, John Anderson, an experienced hiker and outdoorsman, reported an encounter with Bigfoot near Mount Rainier in Washington state. Anderson was on a solo hiking trip when he noticed large, human-like footprints leading off the trail. Curious, he followed the tracks and eventually came upon a circular den made of branches, leaves, and moss. As he approached, he saw a massive, hairy creature crawling into the den. Anderson described the creature as standing over 7 feet tall, with a muscular build and covered in dark brown fur. The sighting left him both awestruck and unnerved. In 2018, another encounter was reported by the Collins family, who detailed that they were camping in the Hoh Rainforest in Olympic National Park, Washington. During an evening walk, they heard strange noises coming from the woods. Intrigued, they followed the sounds and stumbled upon a circular den structure. As they watched from a distance, they saw a large, ape-like figure emerge from the shadows and crawl into the den. The family, familiar with local wildlife, was convinced that what they saw was not a bear or any other known animal. Their encounter added another layer of credibility to the numerous Bigfoot sightings in the region. Interestingly, eyewitnesses described the dens as circular structures, typically 3 to 5 feet in diameter, constructed from natural materials such as branches, leaves, and moss. These dens are often located in remote, hard-to-reach areas, providing Bigfoot with protection and seclusion. The dens appear to be carefully built, suggesting a level of intelligence and dexterity in the creature. The purpose of these dens remains speculative, but several theories have emerged. Some researchers believe that the dens serve as temporary shelters for resting or hiding. Others suggest that they might be used for birthing or rearing young Bigfoot. The sightings of Bigfoot crawling into these dens indicate that the creature exhibits complex behavior and possibly a social structure. The consistency of the eyewitness accounts and the similarity of the descriptions of the dens lend credence to the claims. These sightings provide valuable information for researchers and enthusiasts who seek to understand Bigfoot's habits and lifestyle. While photographic and physical evidence remains elusive, the detailed testimonies of credible witnesses strengthen the case for Bigfoot's existence. Despite the compelling nature of these accounts, skepticism remains. Critics argue that the sightings could be misidentifications of known animals or elaborate hoaxes. The lack of concrete evidence, such as clear photographs or physical specimens, continues to be a major obstacle in proving Bigfoot's existence. However, the persistent reports and the detailed nature of the encounters suggest that there is more to the story than simple myth or fabrication. For centuries, Native American tribes across North America have shared stories and legends of a mysterious, large, and hairy creature that roams the forests and mountains. Known by various names, such as Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and the Hairy Man, these creatures are described in terms that suggest a common understanding of a real and genuine being. For many Native American tribes, Sasquatch is more than a mere legend. It is a revered and integral part of their cultural heritage. Tribes all have their own names and stories for these creatures. These stories often portray Sasquatch as a guardian of nature, a symbol of strength, and a being to be respected rather than feared. The creature is believed to possess spiritual significance, acting as a protector of the forests and the wildlife within them. This reverence underscores the deep connection Native American tribes have with the natural world and their understanding of living in harmony with it. One of the most compelling aspects of Native American encounters with Bigfoot-like creatures is the consistency of descriptions and behaviors across various tribes, many of whom have had little to no contact with one another historically. These accounts describe a creature that stands between 6 and 10 feet tall, covered in hair, with a strong, pungent odor, and often leaving behind large footprints. For instance, the Hoopa tribe of Northern California speaks of Omar, a hairy giant that lives in the forests and is known for its immense strength and elusiveness. Similarly, the Yakima tribe in Washington state tells of a creature that lives in the mountainous regions and is rarely seen but always felt in its presence. These consistent descriptions suggest a shared understanding of Sasquatch that transcends regional differences and points to a common, real entity observed by multiple groups. Historical encounters with Bigfoot-like creatures are well documented in Native American oral histories. These stories often involve sightings during hunting expeditions, interactions near tribal settlements, and even stories of abductions and close encounters. For example, the Kwakiutl tribe of British Columbia tells of a time when their ancestors encountered a family of Sasquatch who lived near their village. These beings were described as peaceful but reclusive, preferring to avoid human contact. In more recent times, Native Americans continue to report sightings and interactions with Bigfoot-like creatures. These modern accounts often mirror the historical descriptions, adding credibility to the idea that Sasquatch is a real and persistent presence in the wilderness. The accounts of Native American encounters with Bigfoot-like creatures provide valuable insights for contemporary researchers and enthusiasts. These stories offer a wealth of information about the behavior, habitat, and characteristics of Sasquatch, which can be used to guide modern investigations. By respecting and integrating the wisdom of Native American oral traditions, researchers can develop a more holistic and culturally sensitive approach to studying this phenomenon. The reverence with which Native American tribes view Sasquatch also encourages a respectful and conservation-minded approach to exploring these creatures' habitats. Rather than seeking to capture or exploit Sasquatch, many advocates argue for preserving the natural environments where these beings are believed to live. This approach aligns with the broader conservation efforts to protect wilderness areas and the biodiversity within them.